Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, how are you getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout 76 video. So today we have our mid-season update. It is inbound, and it's bringing with it a whole bunch of bug fixes, as well as a couple of quality of life changes, a few new rewards, and a few interesting little detail changes that are definitely worth a look. So let's jump in, shall we? Okay, so yeah, this is not a content update as per usual. This is the one that comes in between the content updates. So mostly bug fixes. We have a couple of quality of life bits and pieces, a few visual changes that are well worth a look and a detailed moment to examine, and some extra rewards and some other bits as well. So we'll dive into this one. Little nod to Angry Turtle, we managed to find the patch notes on Steam, because they don't seem to be anywhere else as of this current moment. However, these do apply to all platforms, not just Steam, so they will apply to everybody else as well. So, let's jump in, have a gander. Okay, so, Fallout 76 update notes, April 18th. So, as we can see, we have details for all the different platforms here, because the updates are the same across every platform, it's just the size that changes, really. So, as per, well, we've got slightly variation on numbers there, but as you can see, 2 gigs on Steam, 6.9 on Microsoft Store, 7 on PlayStation, 6.9 on Xbox. So there we go. So, here are the highlights. Big thing that is up first, they have made a number of changes to the text describing legendary mods, so the legendary effects on your weapons and armor. Key point here is that this should not, as I understand it, affect the actual functioning. It's just how it's described that is changing. So you shouldn't be noticing any changes to the way they work. But the idea is to make it a bit clearer and to explain better what these effects do. Sometimes I think they've achieved that. A lot of times they really kind of haven't. So if we take a look at this top one, for example, damage increases as caps increase. So this is the old description for aristocrats. The new description says damage increases for every 1,000 caps you have up to 50%. So this is exactly the same as it was. It caps out at an extra 50% damage. Based on 1,000 caps thing, that's new information and that's cool. It doesn't tell you how much it increases or where the ceiling is, though. So you're kind of guessing still. It's not particularly informative. Obviously, the maximum number of caps a character can hold is 40,000. So is that then the ceiling? No, it's not, actually. It's 30,000, as it has always been. So anything from 30,000 caps on your person and upwards, that's where you get the 50% damage. What it works out at, from what I was looking at before, is roughly 1.6 recurring percent extra damage per 1,000 caps you're carrying. So 1.6 recurring at 1,000 caps, another 2,000 caps, you get another 1.6 to the total of whatever that number would be. And it brings it up to 50% at 30,000. So, yeah. Basically what I'm saying is this is not any more informative than what it was before. But the important thing is it hasn't changed how it works. So that is the key thing. It's just every bit as confusing for, well, basically newer players as it was before IMO. But yeah, I'm not really sure what the gain is here in most cases. So you've got some of them are a little bit more clear, but yeah, a lot of them not really. So if we have a look at, here's a good one, junkies. Damage increases when suffering from addictions. Highly vague description, the old one. 10% damage per addiction up to 50%. Now that's a lot clearer, because 10% per addiction, that spells it out nice and clear. So you need 5 addictions to take you up to 50%. Which I don't think that's a change in the maximum damage output, but I also feel like it might be, I don't know. So either way, that definitely does clarify it, but some of these don't, so perhaps a little bit of work still required. So the shotguns and regular explosive guns, this is a bit more interesting. So for everything other than shotguns, bullets explode for 20% of weapon damage across an area. Basically is what that's saying. It doesn't really express that very well either. And for shotguns, bullets explode for 3% of weapon damage, because you're getting 8 shots per pull of the trigger, effectively. That's how the shotguns work in 76. They fire 8 pellets per shot. If you've ever used a shotgun for a critical hits challenge, you should recognise that one. That's the way I like to do it. So yeah, that's basically why it's working that way. Which basically I think still makes explosive shotguns a little bit more effective than any other kind of explosive weapon. Which is kind of in keeping with the way it was in Fallout 4 as well. But yeah, kind of interesting anyway. But it doesn't actually change the base way it functions. So you've got a few for armour here as well. which is, again, that's a little bit clearer on the whole. Yeah, a little bit clearer, but not life-changing differences. But yeah, as I say, you can pause and have a look at all of this if you want. Should all be on screen about now, and see if there's anything that affects you and you want to know about. Or, of course, you can always check in game. So, Quality of Life editions. One of them is really only Quality of Life edition, and that's a crafting-related thing. There is now a number input option while crafting multiple items. So if you're crafting food or ammo or whatever else, instead of having to try and fight with that slider that is temperamental as everything, at the best of times, you can now literally just click and type. And however this usually works on console and with a controller, that's basically how it will work on consoles and with a controller, whereas those of us who are on PC and use a keyboard can just type away. So, yeah, it's easier for everybody, but especially those of us who've got a mouse and keyboard. So, yeah, long overdue, I think. Some 4.5 years into the game's lifespan, but welcome nonetheless. I'm happy about this and looking forward to taking advantage of it going forward. So, make life a lot easier. Very, very cool. So, Daily Ops are getting a couple of new rewards, which is very nice. There was a whole load added 6 weeks ago with the last update, somewhere around about there, that went into Daily Ops, and there was some new stuff going in there. I believe we've got more Daily Ops stuff coming in the summer as well, which should be pretty cool. So I'll link my last video on the topic for that one, so do check it out because there's some more information on that there. But for right now, we're getting an alien backpack skin and an intergalactic handmade rifle skin added to the reward pool for Daily Ops, on top of the other stuff from that was already there, including from 6 weeks ago and way back. So the loot pool's got a little bit bigger, but this is also, as far as Daily Ops reward go, reasonably desirable, I think. Don't know what the alien backpack skin's going to look like, if it's going to be like an alien plushie that's a backpack, a bit like the Mothman one, for example, or if it's going to be something else, but either way, that should be fun. And I do like my handmade, so we'll have to see what the skin is on that if and when I pick it up. So, bug fixes. I'll blast through these as I usually do and pick out the ones that stand out to me, but you should be able to pause this and have a gander for yourself if you'd like to. So, let's just get that bit done first. Okay, there we go. That should give you the opportunity to see everything you want to see, and I'm going to jump through this and see what leaps out at me. Okay, so a few art changes up first. Atomic camo paint now applies correctly to all of the... which armor is it? Forest and urban armor pieces, which is the scout stuff, the Enclave armor, basically, isn't it? Which I've now forgotten the name of, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm referring to. Oh, the Cow Spots Creamery prefab has some better AI pathing for allies, so that's kind of helpful. Items placed under the giant dinosaur can now be moved individually from the dinosaur, so that's fixing some issues with its collision box, really. Log cabin porch set. That's interesting. They've adjusted the budget cost to align with the cost of similar camp items. So basically, the log cabin porches should now cost the same amount of budget as other porches. I'm guessing they were probably costing either more or less, but well, it'll be one of the two, won't it? As to which one, I don't know. I can't say I noticed myself, but still. That's good. So comes Joe Bar. Fixed some texture issues on that. That's cool. I believe I did see something about that popping up somewhere. So yeah, they were appearing without textures and basically being a solid, weird-looking black thing, from what I recall. So that's nice. Wild Mountain Rifle Range. Various fixes to hanging decor placed inside. Cool. That's nice. That's quite a cool prefab if you managed to pick it up. If you didn't, it was a specific timed event. So as to whether or not it'll come back and when and where, we'll have to wait and see. Because yeah, that was a timed thing. It was a good prefab as well, though. I can recommend if you did get the chance to use it, rather. So a few challenge fixes. This has got to be good because there have been a few issues over the last 6 weeks. Enemies with prefixes in their names now count towards daily challenges. Good. Red Scorpion food items now count towards consume red scorpion meat. Oh, that opens that up, makes it a bit more flexible. Perfect Mothman egg now counts towards collect Mothman egg daily challenges. That's an easy one I haven't seen come up. Addressed an issue where having an equipped throwable weapon that causes fire damage, such as a Molotov, will advance the daily deal fire damage to enemies challenge when using a non-fire damage dealing weapon. So basically what this is saying, if you've got something like, say, a Molotov that does fire damage equipped, and your weapon does not do fire damage, so most other weapons, you could shoot them with your 10mm pistol that doesn't do fire damage, for example, and you'd still get credit because you had the Molotov equipped. Now you won't do that, so you will actually have to do the damage with a weapon that does fire damage, basically, is the big difference there.
Grenade kills counted towards kills with energy weapons when wielding but not using an energy weapon. Okay, so that's, again, technically making the challenge harder, but in line with what it would make sense with. So, yeah, that's fine. Missile launchers now counts towards the Cell Ballistic Weapons challenge. Oh, that's interesting. Cool, though. Yeah, I think that more or less makes sense. Just an issue where cryptids counted towards the take camera picture of legendary cryptid, regardless of whether or not they were legendary. So that's got a bit harder. They have to be legendary now. That makes sense. Cranberry jam now counts towards eat cooked meals that use cranberries. Dirty fedoras and crumpled fedoras now count towards the appropriate possum challenge. Reroll. Yep, the UI has been updated a little bit to make it easier to see the number of rerollers a player has. Okay, that's... I mean, it wasn't particularly hard. You just had to press the button, but now I guess you'll be able to see them beforehand. And updates to the reroll challenges include new and change challenges. So there'll be new challenges available to come up when you reroll. That's okay. So that's going to make it a bit more varied when you're using a reroller. That's cool. Just an issue where grenade kills counted towards the kill creatures with hammers while wielding but not using a hammer. Okay, so if you had, say, a sledgehammer in your hands, you lobbed a grenade and killed somebody, it thought you were using the hammer even though you weren't. Okay, yeah, I can kind of see, actually, with this one, how that bug could arise, where it might come from, you know. It's focused on what you've got equipped more than what actually did the damage. The problem also is kind of obvious to how that would be a problem, but, you know, it is what it is. Either way, it's fixed. And fix an issue where grenade kills counted towards kill cultists with a bladed weapon when you were wielding but not using a bladed weapon. So same thing but for blades. So got some design stuff. Fix an issue that allowed players who had not learned the prison door to build it in their camp. Okay. Fix an issue causing scorched melee animations to break when staggered. Don't see a problem with that. I think they're supposed to break. Unless it means they stop functioning kind of break, which is probably the case. So this is a good one. Fix an issue causing the power user perk not to reflect ammo count accurately, forcing the user to reload early. So yeah, that happens sometimes when using Gatling lasers in particular. You could find that the weapon would reload early because basically it had no ammo left when you did, and then you ended up with partially depleted cores. Electric absorption is also a bit of a problem with this one, but at least that's part way towards solving the problem. I think I haven't had too much trouble with it lately, but this particular issue, but it's a good fix. Fix an issue that allowed players to purchase more rank ups than intended. So what, they were getting 2 for the price of 1 when they weren't supposed to, possibly? Or they were accidentally buying multiple ranks when they only wanted to buy a single one. In either case, not really what you want, so good to have that fixed. And they fixed an issue with custom worlds, wherein infinite ammo custom world setting did not, in fact, grant infinite ammo. So that should work better. That's cool. Mutated event fixes here, so this should be interesting. Melee attacks on resilient mutated enemies, which have triggered the resilient threshold, are now always fatal, regardless of resistances or damage dealt. I see, okay, so that's one way you have to finish them with melee. And it means that once you've got over that certain threshold, basically they're down to 1 HP is usually the way. But whatever that threshold is, one hit on enemies over that threshold should take them down no matter what you're hitting them with and how hard you're hitting them. So that's cool. That means the resilient should get a lot more consistent in your ability to take down resilient enemies when they come up. Particularly in mutated events, I would imagine this also would affect daily ops. It doesn't say so, but I'd be surprised if it doesn't. We'll have to keep an eye on that, I guess. Mutated packages. Players can now correctly earn known recipes from mutated packages and party packs when they know all of them. So you should still be getting rewards, even if you've sort of got everything available. It means duplicates can drop, though. But on the other hand, that kind of extends the lifespan of it. Not necessarily in the best of ways, but it does it. It fixed an issue during an ounce of prevention where multiple instances of the same quest item may appear. That quest has been a bugbear for so long. Still coming up with issues, and they're still trying to squash them. Here's hoping it's functional, at least, these days. And with shelters, they fixed an issue where players could become stuck inside a shelter entrance upon re-logging in. Ooh, weird. Not quite sure how that works, but anyway. Okay, some cool inventory changes. This should be interesting. Spent fusion cores and ultrasight fusion cores no longer remain in a player's inventory after draining the fusion ammo in either laser or ultrasight Gatling lasers, or ultrasight Gatling guns. Basically, your fusion cores should no longer be hanging around to get refilled, which is cool. So that should, to some degree, solve the problem I have with my ultrasight Gatling laser, which is lots of almost completely but not quite depleted cores, especially when you combine it with the fix we mentioned before. So that should actually make my inventory management even easier, which is great. They fixed an issue with the ammo box where the selection would jump to the top of the list when transferring ammo. That's just a UI issue. Radant Lager now has an accurate description of its effects. Carrot soup now weighs half a pound, which is consistent with other soups. Makes sense. Junk. Adjustments to the weight of bulk aluminium, lead, silver, cork, and screws have been made to make them more consistent. Medic's description now correctly displays effects. Mentats, they've addressed an issue where berry mentats would not highlight living creatures, which is kind of 80% of what they're for, so yeah, good to have that fixed. Mutated party packs in inventories, specifically. Fixed a text bug where the mutated party pack said it's granted with 3 Fallout First members instead of 3 or more, so that's just a clarification thing. Removed weights on notes that are inconsistent with other notes throughout the game. Okay, so certain notes and recipes should not weigh anything. That's cool, so that's going to free up some inventory space potentially for a few people. And Fashionet residue analysis can now be removed from the stash box, which is a bit random. If you've managed to put it in there, you couldn't take it out, I guess. But that's good. So if you've got that thing blocking up your stash box, yank it, because you now can. So we've got a bunch of localization fixes here that might apply to you if you're interested. So have a gander. Power armor. Union power armor headlamp mods are now buildable. That's cool. Those are going to be granted through either completing expeditions or from buying them from Giuseppe, so that increases the size of the stuff in Giuseppe's inventory that you can buy back at the White Spring Refuge, so that's cool. So I've been using Union Power Armor, can thoroughly recommend. Slightly increased carry weight and poison resistance is very nice to have, and the stats are generally decent too. So yeah, gotta recommend that one. Definitely a reason to keep at the expeditions as well. Armory's jetpack skin no longer appears as the Union jetpack skin, and all jetpack skins can now be applied to any power armor that can use jetpacks. Basically, except for the excavator, which cannot. So jetpack mods, jetpack power armor mods no longer cause visual issues when inspecting a torso. Okay, so that's just a couple of little things, but good to know. Yeah, headlamps for Union power armor is probably the headline thing in here. A fast travel stability fix, so fix the crash when attempting to fast travel quickly after fast traveling to another player. Okay, that's a very specific one, but okay. Some weapon fixes, these might be interesting. Chainsaw and auto axe now have the same attack speed in first and third person views, so they were doing different amounts of damage depending on whether you're in first or third person. This is a weird thing that's cropped up before in 76. Now they will do the same amount of damage because they're attacking at the same rate. They have the same spin speed in either first or third person, which is the way it should be, really. Auto axes can now roll 2-star faster swing speed legendary mod again, and this can happen with both 2 and 3-star crafting rolls. Okay, so this is interesting. Auto axes, they took this off and basically made the faster swing speed a legacy effect on auto axes for 6 weeks, basically, since the last update. They've apparently reversed this. The interesting thing is this wasn't an accidental bug that popped up. This was a deliberate change that was made with the last update. And they have now reversed it. I'm not quite sure what the word I was looking for was, but reversed will do. So that's good to know. It basically means those of you who've got those faster swing speeds can use them freely without feeling like you're cheating. So that's good. I'm kind of curious as to why they would have removed it in the first place then, because they didn't do it for chainsaws, which is what made it really odd and made them inconsistent. So I guess they felt it wasn't really that necessary after all, or maybe there's another change coming on down the line that will nerf a lot of them, because they are excessively high damage, those things, so we'll see what happens there, I guess. But for now, Auto Axe is back to where it was prior to the last update, so there's a takeaway there. Crafting ultrasight crossbow bolts now counts towards craft crossbow bolts tadpole archer challenge. Any weapons with high base damage, such as plasma caster or Tesla weapons, now lose less durability per shot. Oh, that's cool. Other energy weapons with lower base damage will lose slightly less durability per shot. So energy weapon durability is improved across the board, more so for those with higher per shot damage. Includes the plasma gun as well. Oh, reduced condition damage. Yeah, no, that's the same thing. Missile launcher. Targeting computer mod for missile launcher no longer targets friendly neutral NPCs. That's not such a bad thing. Weapons with poison mods correctly deal base weapon damage to robots again, but obviously won't deal poison because it's rather hard to poison metal. Pipe wrench now works with legendary perks hack and slash and collateral damage, i.e. the melee perks, and shotguns can no longer be fired underwater. Didn't know they could be in the first place. That's crazy. Wonder how somebody discovered that. A harpoon shotgun.
And a couple of UI fixes. Help menu, damage types section of the help menu now correctly says which icons represent which damage type. Yeah, there's an FYI if you're wanting more detailed tips and tricks and understanding of stuff. There is a massive, basically, instruction manual built into the game that you can read if you want. I don't know about you guys, but I always forget it's there. But it is. If you happen to be a new person stumbling across this, you might want to have a wander through it if you've never played a Fallout game before. Random observation, but cool nonetheless. Seasons fixed an issue where users could not see pre-purchased roles until relog. Yeah, that's not such a bad thing. And fixed an issue that caused infinite loading screen when selecting bulk rank ups. So cool. So there we go. Mostly, there's actually some pretty good changes and some good fixes here. Some that needed it. I'm sure the AutoX one will be a happy one for a lot of people. Most of the stuff that's visual is kind of neither here nor there, and actually a mixed bag on how helpful it really is, but pretty cool nonetheless. Definitely not going to complain too much. And yeah, definitely happy to have some of those. The additional rewards in Daily Ops and the number typing thing for crafting menus and stuff, instead of using a slider, you can type in. Brilliant, love it. Long overdue, but something about gift horses and mouths, I think, on that one. Definitely happy about it, so very cool. Yeah, all in all, for a non-content-based update, for a technical mid-season update, that's pretty decent, I think. Like I say, the text updates for a lot of the legendary weapons and armor are a bit meh. Apart from the fact they don't change anything, they don't necessarily clarify much as well, so... Still work to be done if you really want to clarify that one, Bethesda. I think some phrasing improvements required, but still, it's not affecting the actual way the things perform, so that's not the end of the world either. It's not really something to moan too much about. Anyway, there we go. Hope you guys found this useful and informative. If you did, please do drop subs and likes. I very, very much appreciate, and get that notification bell on the go, and then you know when I upload. Down below, as always, social media links, merch store, channel memberships, all that good stuff. If you want to support the channel that way, that really, really, really helps out, and I hugely appreciate it. So, as always, massive thank yous to everyone who's done that already. If you haven't, do have a gander. I really appreciate. And if you get a chance, join us for live streams as well, where we'll be jumping back into Fallout 76, and we are playing a little bit of Resident Evil 4 at the moment, and Redfall is right around the corner, so that's going to be good too. So, do hope you join us for those. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.